All right, guys, I've got a fragrance haul for you today. It's been a while since I've done one, and not the typical size of fragrance hauls that I do. This is less fragrances. Some fragrances that I brought back from Europe that I haven't spoken about, although some I did speak about on various videos here and there. And just fragrances that I've picked up for vintage finds as well that I'll do at the end of the video. But this is a haul video for you. Not all of them are like very, very new, but most of them are. Before I start going over the fragrances, I just want to give you a couple of highlights here. We're getting really close to the ScentFest SF dates. That's happening June 26, 27, and 28. We're pretty full with bookings, exhibitor registrations. And tomorrow, I think, well, tomorrow, as of the shooting of this video, tomorrow will be probably the last day we will take any new bookings. But we are fairly full. We have the whole downstairs booked of Fort Mason Gateway Pavilion, which is what we set out to do. We've registered around 65 to 66 exhibitors and sponsors. And so we will have over 110 brands present at the show, whether it's from the exhibitors alone, sponsors, there's distributors, retailers. So they're all bringing brands together. So we'll have over 110 brands present, and most likely over 500 fragrances you'll be able to smell at the show. This is the first ScentFest SF, and hopefully not the last. I plan on doing a second one, although launching this one was pretty last minute. We kicked off at the beginning of March, and March 8th. So it's been around 3 months that we've been doing this, and we've been able to secure all the brands and exhibitors and sponsors and so on. So it's going to be a great show. If you haven't heard about it, go to the website, check out the long list of brands that will be present. And I'll do another video very soon going over the entire list once it's completely locked for any further registrations. But I do want to say we have brought on Amouage as a sponsor. They're sponsoring our panels, talks. So there's going to be a great collection of panels and talks, 5 to 6 a day for the 3 days. So you'll be able to participate, but sit and listen to talks with people in the industry, perfumers and people that work in the industry, brand owners, retail founders, and things like that. So that will be announced very soon as well. And since Amouage has come on board as a sponsor, the creative director of Amouage, Renaud, will be doing a talk. So any of you interested in hearing from him and hear from him as to what he does with the brand, this is your chance. Get your tickets. And if I haven't already mentioned, which I've mentioned quite a bit, maybe you haven't heard yet, the Osmothèque will be at our show as well. This is a big highlight for me and a big accomplishment for me to be able to get them to come. It took a long time to convince them. They've been very busy with other shows. And so they are coming. They're bringing 25 classic fragrances that are either lost or reformulated. So you'll be able to smell the original Fougère Royale, fragrances that are from history, going back to Egyptian times, the original Kaifi, and to various other fragrances up to around the 1950s. You'll be able to smell Iri Gris from Jacques Fat, the original. I know it's a awesome iris-focused fragrance. So I think this is a very big highlight for our show. So you're not only going to have exhibitors with fragrances, you'll be able to experience things that you will never get a chance to experience unless you go to France, go to Versailles, and make an appointment with the Osmothèque, which is not that easy. Anyway, so please get your tickets. We want to make it a big event. We'll be, like I set out to do 2,000 attendees, and we'll be way past that. So we'll have a lot more than 2,000 attendees. And of course, I set out to do 100 brands, and we'll have more than 100 brands present at the show. So that's, for me, I think I've accomplished what I set out to do. And we're going to do more and more every year, starting with next year. So I hope to see you guys at the show. We'll meet, and you can check out the fragrances and take part in something that's amazing here on the West Coast of the United States. All right, let's get started with the haul video. So the first fragrance I'm going to talk to you about is Massimo Dutti's White Evening. So I actually did a shorts video on the Perfume Guy Shorts channel that I started. I will get back to doing more there, guys. But I did do a video on this one. It got a lot of views compared to the one that comes after this. But this was a great find. I mentioned in that video, I went to Massimo Dutti in London to look for some clothes because I always like go clothing shopping to see. There wasn't any really interesting clothing items that I found from there. But I did smell White Evening. And I was like, I gotta buy this. It's so good. It smells really, really great. It's a skin scent. It's powdery, musky, iris, and it's super sexy. It doesn't mention who the perfumer is, but they do mention it is a Givaudan creation. So the perfumer hasn't signed this fragrance, but when you smell it and you're familiar with some of the ingredients from Givaudan, you can kind of tell it comes from there. But the DNA is sexy. It's a skin scent. Be warned. If you can find it, get it. It's about 40. Do I have the price on it? I thought I did. No, I don't have the price. I believe I paid around 40 British pounds sterling for that. So probably it's about 45. I don't know exact price, but I think I scored. But it is a skin scent. It's not going to be beast mode, anything like that. If you love skin scents, you got to get this. It's that good. I absolutely love it. Now I want to explore more, but I did mention in the video, I smelled quite a few fragrances there on that one visit. Nothing real. Oh, the price is right here, actually. There it goes. So I did smell a lot of other fragrances on that stop, but the first one I smelled was the first one I fell in love with and bought on the spot, as I said. I really love it. So I hope you guys get to try this. White Evening by Massimo Dutti. And if you guys don't know Massimo Dutti, it's a higher end clothing store. Not super high end, but more. It's a sister house of Zara. So I think it's a slightly higher end collection of clothing. So the prices seem to be a bit higher for the clothing and also the fragrances. Although the price of this is really great. It is British pounds sterling. So I think the conversion might be a little different. So this might be around 50, maybe 49 euros. And it could be around $55. But I think this is a great scent if you are into skin scents and powdery iris fragrances, musky fragrances. You got to hunt it down because it's quite good. Really, really awesome. So let's move on to COS Perfumery next. This is Myth. So I also did a video on this one on the Perfume Guy Shorts channel. This one didn't get a lot of views. Maybe the air date, or maybe I wasn't as excited for it. I bought it because I wanted something from this collection. This is COS. This is also the sister brand of H&M, so the more higher end brand. So they launched 4 fragrances. I believe it was earlier last year. I really love the minimalistic look of the bottles. I smelled the collection at the store, and I bought this one called Myth, created by Nathalie Lorson, which is this right here. So this is kind of sort of has the DNA of stuff she's done before. I feel like the vetiver in this gives me similarity to the vetiver in Encre Noire, but there's a lot of there's a lot of violet in this. There might even be some iris as well, and that kind of changes the smell. Now, some people have said that this smells like Santal 33 to them. I do get that quickly, and it disappears pretty fast. I'm not a big fan of Santal 33, so I wouldn't have bought it if this smelled truly like Santal 33. What I like about it is the violet, and I don't think Santal 33 has violet in it. So it's powdery, it's woody, it's spicy, it's aromatic, and pretty classy. I think it leans masculine even though it has the violet note, because generally I don't associate violet with a lot of masculine offerings. Well, violet leaves, like for example Fahrenheit, yeah, masculine. But this is to me maybe a combo of the flowers and the leaves, but it definitely leans on the masculine side. It's good, actually. Now that I smelled it a lot after so much of wearing and testing, I kind of like it even more a little bit. But it's not super exciting as a fragrance, which I mentioned, but maybe you're into it. Now, the price of this one, I don't have the price. It is a bigger presentation, as you can see, a bit more luxurious presentation. Oh my God, this thing is like jammed now. Hold on. Anyway, I've lost my train of thought. This box was a bit problematic. Anyway, it's all in now. And again, I smelled it again for the first time since I was testing it out earlier, several weeks ago, when I aired the shorts video on the Perfume Guy Shorts channel. And I liked it. I still think it's not super exciting, but it smells a little bit better now. Either way, Myth by COS Perfumery. COS is a, as I said, H&M's upper end line of clothing, fashion brand. And that's one of their 4 fragrances. I smelled the other ones as well. Not super exciting. Maybe I'll circle back to them. This was around 100, so I don't know exact price. I think it's 100 in the States. You can order it online. I don't have a COS store here near me. I think there might be one on the East Coast. Maybe there's one in Southern California. I don't know. But that's already been spoken about on the Perfume Guy's Shorts channel. The Perfume Guy Shorts channel. Now I'm going to talk to you about Marc-Antoine Barrois B87.135. So I arrived in London and I stayed somewhat like 20-minute walk from Harrods. But that's my second time staying there. So I like walking, so I decided to walk there. And when I got there, it was kind of late because, by the time you arrive in your hotel and everything and check in and relax and get refreshed and things like that, it's the end of the day. So I got there, and by the time I got to the fragrances, they had apparently done an event for the launch of this fragrance. This is a Harrods exclusive. As you can see, the Harrods color here, their trademark green color. So it's a Harrods exclusive fragrance. And the associate there said, "Oh, you just missed Marc-Antoine and Quentin Biche." Like, oh, okay, I guess I missed them. I've never met Quentin Biche. I've met Marc-Antoine many times. I just decided to buy it because I'm collecting. Unfortunately, it's not my favorite fragrance from the house. I think still my favorite is Ganymede, followed by the extract of B683. This one to me has all the trademarks of Marc-Antoine Barrois fragrances. And it's strong, it's intense, it's a bit oody, it's spicy. There's a slight underlying creaminess there. I think there's a little bit of rose, but I feel like it's not, what's the word? It's just not, it's like a lot going on. It's a bit busy. And you want it to settle in one direction, and I think it can't make up its mind. But I think it'll be popular with certain people that have not experienced Marc-Antoine Barrois fragrances or Quentin Biche fragrances. And it might be the first one they smell. They experience how intense it is, how strong it is, how loud it is, and they might end up buying it. And I think it makes sense for a Harrods exclusive. I think because it has that oudiness, and I think it does have oud as a note. I think it might appeal to Middle Easterners coming there because it does have that kind of a effect or presence. I don't think it's the strongest from the line. Again, Ganymede is my favorite, followed by B683 Extrait. I love those two. This one could be put third or fourth. So that's what I'm getting with this one. What are your thoughts? Have you guys experienced this one? B87.135. Do add a comment below if you love it, if you hate it. What are your thoughts? I'd like to find out. I mean, I don't hate the smell, but I just don't think it's that strong of a smell. And when you have Ganymede, which I find to be awesome, this one, it's okay. Anyway, those are my thoughts on B87135. It's a bit of a confusing name, but I'll go with it. Now, this is the other one that I was really waiting for, and I sampled it. I was quite underwhelmed, but since I am collecting these fragrances, and I have every single one of them except for the first one in this series, the vanilla, I had to buy it. And as I was testing it, it's grown on me further, but I don't think it's one of the strongest. I'm talking about Guerlain's Shalimar Millésime Rose. Are you a fan? It's funny, when I put my camera on pause, it doesn't focus on any of the products that I'm, showing on camera. Like, it's okay now. It's okay now, but as I get closer, it's not. It usually is supposed to focus. But anyway, this is Guerlain's Shalimar Millésime Rose. Have you guys smelled it yet? So I think the original formula does have have rose. They've just brought it out more. I almost feel like it's grown on me, right? But I almost feel like the rose doesn't blend with the notes. And I've experienced many rose forward gourmand fragrances, and I'm not saying this is a gourmand, meaning vanillic and ambery kind of notes. I almost feel like the rose is not working. But once I get past that, I kind of like it. It gives me a little bit of a lipstick effect, the rose with the notes in here, because I feel like there's iris in here, and I feel like there's tonka in here, and of course there's vanilla. It does come off a little bit like lipstick, but also it comes off a little bit like some kind of a rose dessert. Most importantly, Pierre Hermé has those rose macaroons. Kind of gives me that kind of an effect with this. What are your thoughts? Again, now that I'm smelling it again, I'm still thinking I'm not sold on it. Let me know. My favorite still is the tonka. And again, I have never smelled the vanilla, so I can't comment on that. But when the tonka came out and I was able to buy it, the associate that sold it to me in Paris at the Guerlain boutique said, oh, the vanilla was too sweet. Was it too sweet? A lot of people say that Shalimar L'Essence is kind of similar to the vanilla, Millésime vanilla. Is it? Does anybody know? Does anybody have experience? Add a comment below. But for me, the rose is, maybe it'll grow on me further, but it's not my favorite of the line. In fact, I kind of prefer the jasmine and iris a little bit more than the rose. I don't know, the rose is kind of rubbing me the wrong way with that fragrance. So anyway, now let's talk about this fragrance. I was in Paris, of course, and I went to the Printemps store. It's a department store that has a standalone perfume and beauty building. So downstairs, floor 0 is a lot of like beauty products, and they also have like Dior and Givenchy and Guerlain and Chanel, all those brands there, and their fragrances and their beauty products. Upstairs is all niche fragrances or luxury fragrances, and they have a Caron section up there. It's kind of like the idea of the salon in Harrods, where you go up to the top floor and they have this like layout of small little boutiques, like Xerjoff is there, Chanel has a place, Raja has a place, and Amouage just got a place. It's kind of like that, but a bit more like the one in Harrods. It's not so many brands represented. The one in Printemps is a lot of different brands. And they also have these sections where there's a variety of fragrances in addition to the sections that are standalone for one brand. So there is a space for Caron up there. And I was there in October and I bought a few fragrances, and I was there just in April and I bought this. But I asked the woman, I said, what's the latest? And she said, ATMAH. And I said, when did it launch? I think she said it launched in November. So I was there in October previous. So I never got to smell this. And I smelled it and I loved it and I bought it. So this is ATMAH. I've worn quite a bit of this because it's super delicious. There's one negative for it. It's not super loud. And the one I talk about from this brand in these bottles is Tabac Exquis. Tabac Exquis is also not a super beast mode fragrance, so I'm hoping that maybe they'll make an extract of it. Caron, if you're listening, make an extract of Tabac Exquis. This is similar. It doesn't have that loudness. I mean, as a smell, it's amazing. ATMAH is vanilla with white flowers and musky notes. And it's the first fragrance, I think, created by Louise Turner, who took over as perfumer after Jean-Jacques left. Jean-Jacques did Tabac Exquis, which I love. I've recommended that fragrance so much. If you love tobacco and chocolate together, get it. And then I just featured it in a video because Tom Ford is launching Tabac Chocolat, I think that's what it's called, along with Tobacco Vanille Parfum. So this to me is like a musky, white floral take on vanilla. Not anything similar to Paris Monte Carlo's Vanille de Tahiti, because that one kind of goes animalic. This is super musky. It's powdery, but man, it's so good. So good. The only thing I would hope for this is to be a bit stronger, so you end up spraying a lot more. But it is good. It's not a super gourmand vanilla. It's not a super edible vanilla. Once again, I'm kind of preferring those kind of vanillas a bit more than like super duper like sweet and sugary vanillas. But I love vanilla. It's my second favorite note, and it does compete with patchouli. And again, this to me is super fantastic. I really love it. So now I have two favorite fragrances from Caron, and it's a good one. Although I should say, Caron Paranum de Caron is one of my all-time favorite fragrances. There won't be, like the Osmothèque I was mentioning earlier, will have the original formula of Tabac Blonde from Caron, where you can smell it, which is a classic. They won't have the original of Paranum, but this new one is super awesome if you can get your hands on it. Sad part is Caron is not really represented in the States much anymore, although they do have shipping. But with all the crazy, crappy things going on with shipping lately, I don't know, the shipping price might be expensive. But to me, ATMAH is awesome. If you can get your hands on it, I might do a full video on this, but I'm telling you now, it's one of the best. That's why I bought it. Again, it's not a super duper gourmand vanilla. It's spicy, musky, and very white floral. And it's got Givaudan DNA all over it because Louise Turner is a perfumer at Givaudan, and she does quite a few fragrances for Ex Nihilo, and I think now she's the in-house perfumer. I don't know how that works. I don't know how in-house she is. Does she make fragrances outside of Caron as well? I don't know those technicalities, but that's what I know. She makes fragrances for Caron now, and you got to get your nose on ATMAH. It's super awesome. So I hope you guys get to do it and come back and let me know what your thoughts are. All right, and going from, wait, no, not yet. We're going to go next to the new Maison Margiela that I bought, and I did a video on this one, so you probably already heard about it. It's from their new collection called Sensorium Collection from Maison Margiela, and the one I bought is Chapter 4, Tender Defiance. Sadly, it's not focusing. I can't help with that. Here is the bottle. It's a super gorgeous bottle. Prices are pretty high. It's a 75 ml bottle. This one is created by Dominique Ropion. And if you watched my video, you would have heard me say, this is my second favorite. Why did I buy this one if I like the other one more? The other one is the tobacco and boozy. And the reason I bought this one is because of the licorice and anise note that it features in it. Plus it was Dominique Ropion. That's why I bought it. But I think the tobacco is a bit more my kind of fragrance, but I always look for licorice and anise in fragrances because I love this ingredient and note. And here we have it. It's there. It also has fir balsam or pine, one of those notes, so it kind of has that kind of an effect. There's a fragrance from L'Artisan, which I'm drawing a blank with the name now. I think it's called Fou d'Absinthe, created by Olivia Jacobetti. That is pine and anise and licorice, I think. This kind of has a similar idea, whereas that doesn't have the overdose of amber woods. This has a lot of amber woods in the base. So my complaint when I was doing my video, I said that the amber woods is pretty strong, and then almost it overpowers the anise and licorice. And to me, it's a kind of a softer spice. It's also a bit boozy, those notes, the licorice and anise. So it kind of overpowers here with the amber woods. But you can still smell it. I like it. I love the bottles. I had to have one in the collection, and hopefully I can find a deal for the tobacco one and get that one as well. But look at the bottle. It's kind of looking like it's cracked, and the design is really nice. Very Maison Margiela, minimalistic and things like that. So let me know if you guys have sampled these fragrances. I had seen online that these are at Saks. I'm not sure if it's online only or maybe it's at certain stores, but maybe it is. But I enjoyed it. Again, I think my favorite is the tobacco, followed by that one. I wouldn't say the entire line is super wow. They're a bit underwhelming, but the tobacco and that one are my favorites. There's maybe one more that I liked, which I think was the Freshie, but I don't need that one in my collection. So let's move on to the next fragrance. I kept hearing a lot about this. I haven't spoken about it. I actually bought this just before I left to Europe, and I haven't been able to talk about it. Thankfully, I got a 15% off at Macy's because I'm always looking for a deal. Macy's is doing 15% off on fragrances and beauty, so I took advantage. This is Jo Malone's Amber Labdanum. Who's a fan? So Amber Labdanum, I kept hearing about it. I went and tested it out, and I really enjoyed it. It's also a fragrance created by Jan Vaznier, who I admire as a perfumer from Givaudan. It's interesting also, when he makes fragrances, they don't smell a lot like Quentin Biche or like Louis Turner, I was saying. I feel like he makes some fragrances, maybe he doesn't use a lot of the ingredients the other perfumers there use, I don't know. But to me, this is an amber for sure. But if you've ever smelled Labdanum or the rock rose, and in the autumn, you can smell them as you're walking. When it's Indian summer, it's really hot and all those shrubs have dried, but the rock rose is still there. Like in the heat, you can smell what it smells like if you're like walking near these plants. And they've captured the smell of the Labdanum, but they've also given it a stickiness and resinous quality of the Labdanum, which is what it is. And it's also smoky and vanillic, but a great amber, really wonderful amber. I haven't bought a Jo Malone fragrance in a long time. This one is super good, especially also since it's made by Jan Vaznier, and I really do enjoy his creations. Jo Malone fragrances are eau de cologne. This is a cologne intense, so it is stronger than the clear bottles, but they're not the longest lasting fragrances. I think this one sits close. It has good lingering power with the type of notes it is. It's the kind of notes that do linger a lot longer than anything that's in the clear bottles, because those are much fresher and not so base heavy. Because this is amber and Labdanum. They're both base notes, and the vanilla and the incense, all base notes. So it does have more of a lingering quality in comparison to something like, I don't know, sea sage, what is it called? Sea salt. Sea salt sage, the more popular one. That is definitely something that doesn't linger on too long, because those are all like lighter notes. But the fact that this has the those notes, the stronger base notes, it has better lingering quality. I think I put down my strip. But really great one. If you like amber, you've got to check this one out. I think most people are used to Grand Soir. I guess the qualities might be similar. I find Grand Soir to be a bit brighter. This one seems to be a bit darker. And the fact that it has smokiness, maybe a little bit of pepperiness, it tends to take it into a darker territory. But you really can experience that sticky, resinous quality. Whoa, my bottles are falling. Let me just put it. But a good one. If you haven't tried this, please do. I recommend this Jo Malone Amber Labdanum Cologne Intense. All right, next up, we are going to a designer. All right, we're going to talk about Jean-Paul Gaultier's Le Male in Blue. This also has a licorice-y type note. I can't remember if this is Eau de Parfum, though. Yeah, this is Eau de Parfum. So, is this one a Quentin Biche creation? I can't remember. So, I think a lot of the fragrances I'm talking about today are creations from Givaudan. Who's a fan of the fragrances that come out of there? I don't know who did this one, but he has done quite a few of their fragrances. And what I like about this one, it seems to be a bit more simplistic, not as intense as these canister ones here, the elixirs. But it's fresher, a bit more aromatic, a little spicy. And I think there's some cleanness here. It doesn't have that warmth. It doesn't have the amber. It's lighter. But I liked it. It smells great on me. The lavender and the licoricey anise note that's in here is amped up. And it seems like those are kind of what's running the show, with some ambery and vanillic notes in the base, but they're not as strong. So if you like something that's a bit subtle, not as intense as the Elixir or the Elixir Absolute, then definitely try it. And I think the name suits it. La Male in Blue. Le Male in Blue. Let me know if you've sampled that. I'd like to find out. And another designer here, we've got Givenchy Gentleman Society Sport. Yeah, I did buy this one. I like the series. I think still my favorite is the Amber. I think the Amber of this series is the best. I really love the Amber. But I think I'm going to do a video on the collection. And I'll talk to you guys about this collection. The Sport might be... Well, it's a freshie, it's citrusy, but I almost feel like there's vetiver and some peppery notes in here. Whoops. It's more simplistic. I can see the reason why they called it Sport, because it does have that kind of a sporty effect. But it's quite simplistic. I get citruses, woods, and almost feeling like vetiver, or maybe sandalwood, and then there's a peppery quality about it as well. So I can see that it does really great as a sporty fragrance. What are your thoughts? Gentleman Society Sport from the house of Givenchy. Okay, so these next two fragrances, I was walking around in stores in France, and this was like a mom and pop type shop. And I was looking at, like, it's not like a chain store. It's just like a mom and pop. And they spoke English, and they asked me if I was interested in testers of Armani Privé or testers of Maison Margiela, the black bottles from the Replica series, not this new collection. And I'm like, I already have some of the black bottles. I know they have some new ones, but what do you guys have as far as the testers of the Privé collection? So I got two testers for 100 each. So one of them is Blanc Kogane. The other one is Cuir. Let's talk about them real quick. The one I have in order here, Blanc Kogane. That's the first one we should talk about. This is Blanc Kogane. So I've heard the why. I sensed it, but this brand, their Privé collection is not discontinued. They just got removed from Neiman Marcus several years ago because of Neiman Marcus's problems. And there's a thought that perhaps Estee Lauder might get removed as well because Neiman Marcus is not paying bills. But that's another story. Let's talk about this fragrance, Blanc Kogane. To me, it's musky and powdery quite a bit. There's a little bit of rose. It does have a baby powder kind of effect here. And the word Blanc means white, so it does have that white effect. There's a little bit of baby powder with rose effect. I think I already mentioned that. But it's soft and powdery. This is probably a bit skin scent-like as well. But it is a pretty gorgeous bottle. Who's a fan of the Privé collection? I feel like I scored. I could have bought more, but those are good prices. But I didn't want to bring too much back because my suitcase was getting heavy. All right, so the next one is Cuir. I think these two are fairly recent fragrances, aren't they? I think they gave me the list and I looked up online to see when they were launched. This one seems to be like a fragrance I've already smelled before. The Cuir smells like rose and oud. There's a rosiness in here. It almost smells like taking Tom Ford's oud wood, adding leather and rose in it. It's a good smell. What are your thoughts? Not $100, it was 100 euros, obviously, because we're dealing with euros back in Europe. But anyway, that is Cuir New and Blanc Kogane from Armani Privé. The 100 euros is a good deal because the conversion rate, it would have turned out to be about $115 with that conversion. All right, next. Okay, I got to pause the video because I got fragrances to go grab. Okay, so 2 new fragrances that I just added to my collection, which I haven't even, well, one of them I have sampled. This is the latest Comme des Garçons. It's called Vetiver. This is also a Givaudan perfumer. Go figure. What the heck is going on? This, I think, is Antoine Maison Du. I love the color of the bottle. It's a blind buy. So let's see how it is. Great looking color. Comme des Garçons fragrances come wrapped in things like this. Here's the bottle. So how is the reception on this fragrance? I really love these bottles, and the red really drew me in. So they also have a fragrance called Rouge, which is the beetroot focused fragrance with incense. I love that one. I don't think this one's going to be as exciting. To me, it's a very peppery vetiver. There's a pencil shavings like effect happening. It's black peppery, maybe slightly smoky with incensey type notes. It's giving me, Comme des Garçons has the incense series. It's giving me a little bit of the Zagorsk effect. It's giving me like a pencil shavings effect. In this case, I think the bottle is more beautiful than the actual fragrance. What are your thoughts? I mean, it's a very masculine offering, but again, peppery vetiver, pencil shavings, woods, not super exciting. But you guys tell me, have you tried it? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Let me know. But it's a gorgeous presentation, I think. And then there's this one that I've been wanting for the longest time. One of you guys told me about it. It's Fornasetti Immaginazione. I think that's how you say it, or just Immaginazione. This unique perfume stops time, from being time to become a lingering dream, a mesmerizing desire, an unforeseen secret, memory fragments from an evoked future. So if you guys don't know Fornasetti, they make the most amazing, well, they used to make really amazing candles. I think there was a ownership change or some reformulate. I don't know what happened, but once that took effect, I think they also decided to launch fragrances. And I believe the 3 fragrances are created by Tiziana Terenzi, from what I've heard. Not Tiziana Terenzi, Paolo Terenzi of Tiziana Terenzi. So yeah, presentation's really cool. So when I was at Harrods for the launch of Juice Boxes 54, they have a Fornasetti department in Harrods. I smelled them there. I really liked this one. So that was like almost 2 years ago. It's an amber. Oh, yeah. This amber is gorgeous. It's juicy, but also sticky resinous. Totally different than the amber Labdanum. This is also an extrait de parfum, as it says on there. Oh, I love this. It's really good. Really, really great. There is a fizzy Coca-Cola-esque vibe in here. I kind of like that about it. Ooh, it's good. It's really good. Totally different than the other. There's a juicier, more syrupy quality here in comparison to the Jo Malone, which is dry and more sticky, like gum resiny. Thoughts? Let me know. Have you guys tried their candles? I really love the candle containers. They're kind of works of art to me. I think there's been a change with their candles, though. If anybody has the story on Fornasetti, let me know. Add a comment below. All right, so these 3 fragrances I finally, I had received before I left, and I never spoke about them. And I spoke about these originally in the videos that I do that have like really great deals on fragrances. And I bought these. It's from the house of Orlov Paris, which I think is dead. The house, I think, died. And if you guys want me to do a video on this house, let me know. But real quickly, the brand launched around 2014 or 2015 with Star of the Season and a great scent created by Dominique Ropian. In fact, they launched with 5 fragrances, I think. All 5 were created by Dominique Ropian. A year into the brand, they were all reformulated. The names were kept. They smelled completely different. And I think, I don't know what happened, but they were launching new fragrances with some of the same perfumers that did the redos. And then the brand faded away. Then this collection was launched. And they were at the discounters for 25 to 35 bucks for these 75 mLs. I already bought 2 that and received and spoke about them. Now I have 3 more to go over. So let me know if you guys want a video on the Orlov brand. Does anybody know if they're still around? Let's talk about Burning Desire first. That's the presentation. When they first launched, their presentation was much bigger, like big boxes, almost like Xerjoff kind of boxes. Here is Burning Desire. Now it's clear bottles in these. Let's check out the smell. When I do a lot of blind buys, I keep most everything. If I don't like a fragrance at all and I will never talk about it, I might sell it and get rid of it. But most of these are kept. So this to me, it's fresh, woody, spicy. There's a almost like a fruity presence, but I think it's citruses that's giving me a slight fruitiness, almost like mandarin or orange or something. Bit of green aromatics in there, like mint or sage. Basil maybe, not sage. It's fresh. It's a freshie. Burning Desire. Now the name doesn't match the fragrance, but as a smell, I think it could be great for a summer wear, cheaply. I'll tag these fragrances as best as I can, so as you're watching them with the timestamps or chapters, you can buy the fragrances. The next one is called Empower You. And again, as I said, if you want a video rundown or overview of the brand, because I don't really know what's happening with the brand. I just don't know. I don't know what happened to the founders. I think the founders also sold the brand to somebody else. I don't know. Sometimes you can't open these. Man, you're going to have to rip them. Okay. So this one is called Empower You. Wow. Totally different color juice. I'd have to try these on to give, these are like completely blind buys. So I'd have to come back to them and try them. But as like my first opinions on them, they're not smelling bad, but they're not super exciting me. This one actually might be a bit better, but I'm liking this one just a slight bit more, but they're not like super exciting. So I was reading some comments recently somewhere, and I've had this as well. People complain that the fact that we can't judge a fragrance by just smelling it. And I'm like, yeah, I judge fragrances like that. Why do I have to wear a fragrance multiple times to judge it to see if I like it. I go to a store. How much do you like? If I wear one fragrance, I will be done. I won't be able to test fragrances. So I guess some people want me to wear a fragrance before I talk about it, but which is what I do. But for me, since there's so many fragrances out there in the world, I'm never going to have time to wear everything. I usually judge if I like the smell. Then if I like the smell, then I buy a fragrance. If I really love the smell, I really buy it quickly. But some people expect you to wear everything to decide and make a decision. I don't do that. I mean, I don't have the time and the luxury. If somebody didn't have access to a lot of fragrances like I do, then maybe, yeah. But I'm deciding here whether I like a fragrance to come back to try and wear it more. And for me, I have to make that decision right off the bat. It's a smell I like. Now I want to dig into it further. It's a smell I don't like. Then I'm going to not come back to it because it's not something I click with, you know? So I think maybe that's not everybody's idea, but because there's so much fragrance out there, that's the way I work. So this next one is called The Best of Me. Wow, what is that? This one's not my favorite. It's almost like there's rose, but something like Santal 33 is mixed with it. I like the rose part, but I don't like that other part. That's reminding me of Santal 33. No, wait. I take that back. I feel like this is rose and geranium. I think there's a lot of geranium here. It's starting to smell like rose and geranium. Like you can bring out the rose smell from geranium. It's quite green. But initial smell, it didn't really click with me. But I like the rose part, and I think that's what I'm experiencing now, a lot of geranium. There's a greenness. It's almost like green stems, the rose stems. So that's the best of me. All right, you guys, let me know. Are you a fan of Orlov Paris? Do you guys want a little overview of the brand? I mean, I don't know what's available anymore, and that whole deal with the brand changing the smells. Star of the season, if you can get the original pre-reformulation, get it? And again, reformulation to me means a little change. These fragrances were completely reformulated, so Star of the Season became a completely new fragrance. Doesn't remind me at all of the fragrance that it used to be. And then it was not even the same perfumer. Like Dominique Ropion created all of the fragrances when they launched. Then a bunch of different perfumers recreated them and they kept the name the same. It was just a weird, confusing mess. Maybe that's why they're no longer with us. I don't know. And then here we have a cheapie that I want to talk to you about. I did buy this at, I think, Marshall's. Now, Alvarez Gomez, I have one of their Eau de Cologne fragrances that it's almost like 4711. It's a Spanish brand. They sell them in the grocery stores. It's a fresh lemony take on something like 4711. I have a bunch laying around. They're really refreshing and soothing and cooling. This is an eau de parfum. It's called Golf Club Eau de Parfum pour Homme. And it's kind of like Aventus in the end. This was like $15, so it was really cheap for 100 ml. Who knows this brand? Alvarez Gomez, Madrid. Yeah, to me, it smells more like Mancera Cedrat Boisé, but a cheap version of it. It's juicy and pulpy rather than dry and woody like Aventus from Creed. I mean, if you're looking for an alternative, it would be a great alternative. Let me know your thoughts. Look at the back. This was just sitting out there like this. I think it was $15 at Marshall's. And I decided to pick it up. Because I like the brand and I have the one in yellow. I can't remember what the one in the yellow bottle was called. Hold on. So the bottle is high, so I can't get it. But it's called Aqua Colonia Concentrata. So that is the fragrance I know from the brand The very first time I went to Spain, I bought bottles of it and gave them away. I have like 1 or 2 bottles still here, but it's a bit high. I don't have time to get it right now. But if you like 4711 and you want something lemony, look for that fragrance. And if you want an alternative for Cedrat Boisé, this $15 for this is pretty good price, I think. All right, so those are the original fragrances. Now I've got four vintage fragrances that I've recently bought as well. First of which is Gucci's Eau de Gucci concentrated. And I think I mentioned the story of how I bought this. I was visiting family and there was a mall we went to and there was a kiosk in the middle of the mall. And I don't usually look at the kiosk because they're all, you know, pretty like designer and mass market fragrances. But as I was walking by, I'm seeing this packaging like this against the window display. And I walked by and then I kind of walked backwards to look at it. And I'm like, why do they have a vintage bottle of this with all the new fragrances? So I inquired and I said, where is this from? Do you guys have more? She said, no, was in our warehouse. We decided to put it out. I think she said it was like 135. I told her I'd buy it for like 79 or 89 or something. I can't remember the price now. And we went back and forth. I said, no, I don't want to pay that much. I'll pay the amount I'm asking for. Finally, she settled because I was not going to buy it. I think 135 was too much, but maybe it's not. It's a splash bottle, so they don't do that much anymore. But the vintage collector in me wanted it really badly because I don't have it. It is a feminine offering. I think it's not in its best condition. That's another reason why I didn't want to pay full price on this. Is this their first fragrance, Eau de Gucci? You guys know? So I can smell white flowers. I can smell a little musky funk. It's spicy, but I think, you know how fragrances have to macerate? So in the bottle, I think it's still macerating. And if it was kept it's in the box, so it's dark in there. So I think it almost smells like it's over macerated. Like it's like blended too much. But under there's something great smelling. Look at the packaging. Contains SD alcohol 40, fragrance water. And look at the bottom. Le Parfum Gucci, Paris, made in France. There's a funk about this. There's definitely a funk. Like they used a lot of funk back then. Funk as in musky animalic notes. Okay, this next one is also a great score. I've always wanted a bottle of Fragile by Jean-Paul Gaultier. I recently got one, but the juice had turned color, so you can't really see inside. I think because it has gold flakes in there, I think those are like they've melted into the water and mixed in the waters. The colors, the juices turn color. The color has turned in the juice, and it's also a tuberose focused fragrance, and I think it just kind of becomes dark. But I did find this recently. Look at that. So this is the smaller version. So the one I did in my vintage fragrance haul from like a few months ago was the actual real bottle. This is the other version of the bottle. I think this is the less expensive version. This is a 50 ml. It's an eau de toilette. Oh, maybe this is eau de toilette and the other one was eau de parfum. That might be the difference. I don't know much about it. I mean, I don't know much about the fragrance. I think it was a flop for the fragrance was a flop. But as a collector, I really wanted it. And as you can see the gold inside, it hasn't turned here. And so, yeah, it's kind of a almost fruity white floral. There's like almost a succulent, pulpy quality. At least that's what this one's acting like. It smells really good. But it's white flowers. It almost smells like magnolia. I thought it was tuberose. It comes with a little pamphlet. This is a fragrance created by Francis Kirkchum, by the way. Here are the different versions of the bottles. That's a really cool catalog that shows. So the one I have is this version. The other one, it doesn't spray, and the color of the juice has completely turned dark. But it's got like instructions on how to do it. But that's the other version. This version, as I said, this comes off and the spray is right here. Yeah, the other version, you can't spray it. Plus, I think the gold in there or whatever flakes they have might have corroded the piping in the bottle. I don't know. Could be. And then Mugler's B Men. Yeah, I have already several bottles of this. It's one of my favorite Muglers. Absolutely love it because it's also licorice and anise. I love these notes. It's interesting. My Mugler journey started out with Angel. I was never wearing it, but I loved the way the ladies smelled wearing it. Then I started wearing Amen. I wore so much of it, really loved it. And then Cologne came out. Really loved that one as well, Mugler Cologne. That was my journey. And then after Cologne, I went to B Men, and that was just so good. I remember one winter I spent Christmas in New York. This is 2004, the year this launched. All I wore was this. This was just like what I was wearing because, you know, I didn't have access to a lot of niche fragrances at the time. And to me, this smells really great right now. Super awesome. They should bring this back. Man, Mugler needs to make some really like awesome redos. Like Pure Havane, Pure Malt should come back in like higher concentration. Because some of the eau de parfums for the guys they've released, they're not that interesting. But this is awesome. So good. So good. Who's a fan of B Men? Let me know. All right, and last but not least, YSL's Opium. I think this is the least vintage of the vintages. The bottle, I think, is manufactured, I think, in 2016. I recently bought a new version of this, and that version is, you know, the latest. I featured it in a 100 fragrances you have to smell before you die video. If you haven't watched that video, please go watch it. It's just, I think it's a classic masterpiece. It does remind me a little bit of that Estee Lauder fragrance. But also, as you can see up here, I recently was able to buy this. This is the bottle that was designed by Pierre Denon. If you guys don't know who he is, go watch my video with him. He is a legendary bottle maker, and he created this bottle. And I was so happy to be able to buy this. As a collector, I'm happy. But that one's not for wearing, I mean, like testing out. I'm just going to leave that in here. But Youth Dew is the fragrance this is reminding me of from Estee Lauder. It smells a little better, a little bit more potent than the current version. It's also a lot of spices and amber, so it doesn't go bad much in any way. I mean, it will turn if you keep it in a really bad conditions, but for me, these kind of fragrances don't turn as fast as something that has a lot of citruses. It's smelling great here. My mom wore this fragrance, so it has a bit of meaning to me. Anyway, that's it, guys. That's the haul for you. Not as big of a haul that I've done before, but that's a pretty substantial haul, I think. Let me know your thoughts. What do you guys think? And one more thing I want to talk to you guys about. This is a fragrance I keep mentioning. You guys have to get it, especially guys, men. This is Boss's The Collection Vigorous Cologne. It is so good. I think this is going to be my fragrance of the summer. It's also same perfumer as the Amber Labdanum. It's Jan Vosnier. It's juicy citruses, aromatic spices, and mossy base. So it's got a bit of a green vibe, but the citruses are a bit tart and tangy, and it's fresh and invigorating. It's paying tributes to classic fragrances for the guys, like Eau Sauvage and things like that, but it's also fairly modern. It smells amazing, and you can get it for like $70. It's a citrus though, just keep in mind it's mossy, it's a citrus, it's a bit green, So it's not going to be like super beast mode, but in the summer when it's hot, this stuff is going to smell amazing. So I'm just mentioning it here because I think this is something I'm going to talk to you guys about further. But to me, it's one of the best from the collection from Boss. You've got to get it, especially if you're a guy and you like, you know, classic citrus cologne-like fragrances that pays tribute to the classics, and of course, very modern take on them. And the perfumer is awesome. I really think he's one of the best perfumers currently. He's not as hyped as Quentin Biche, obviously. He works at the same firm, and his fragrances don't smell like Quentin Biche's fragrances, but he does some great work. Like both of these, I really recommend. So, but yeah, the Vigorous Cologne is so awesome. It's a great fragrance for summer, I think. So if you guys haven't tried it, please do. You can find it for about $70. It's totally worth it because that collection sells for about $300+. Suggested retail, so at the discounter, it's so inexpensive. You got to have it. You got to really have it. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys today. Thanks so much for watching this hour-long video on fragrances that I've recently picked up. If you know any of these, let me know. Add a comment below. What are your thoughts? Maybe you like them and maybe you don't like them. Let me know what you guys have recently purchased. Add a comment. And again, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Make sure to interact with the video and also share it, like I said. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Click that bell icon so you won't miss out on future videos. The other thing I want to say, please guys, if you haven't registered for ScentFest SF yet, please do. It's going to be an amazing show, the first of many to come, and you don't want to miss the very first show because it's going to be very memorable with the experiences that we have going on at the show. One of the things I did not mention is algorithmic perfumery. So this is just amazing device that we're going to have at the show, and you'll be able to go on your phone and add some information to a questionnaire, and the machine will spit out a fragrance for you. So you're gonna be able to create fragrances on the spot with your ideas, with your inspirations. Maybe there's a favorite fragrance, maybe you have a favorite movie and you'll say, I wanna make a fragrance out of this movie. Or maybe you have a favorite song. You convert that song into a fragrance. So it's awesome. So convert your movie to a fragrance, convert your song to a fragrance. Maybe you have a favorite food that you think should be turned into a fragrance, or just come up with some inspiration. So the algorithmic perfumery, I think, is going to be a fun experience, and that's going to be at our show, ScentFest SF. So get your tickets, plan your travel, and I hope to see you guys here. Anyway, see you all later. Bye-bye.